righty, righty. You got your bathroom break or your snack break or whatever break you decided to take while I was gone, setting up this position, setting up the game, making sure everything is tight. And this one is definitely another throwback, but I was much stronger, much more experienced in working on becoming an IM by this time. So we're going fast forward. This next game, I played against Dirk Paldoff from Germany. This was like 93. Maybe a little earlier. Maybe it was 92. I should check. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It was early 90s. Some of y'all still weren't born yet. Somebody said earlier that you weren't even a thought in your parents' minds back in 84. Yeah, I feel you. They're like, maybe they didn't even want to have you in the end. But this, we going back. I'm old school, so we going back. Jameson said, not born yet. Yeah, that's what's up. We was having fun in the 80s and the 90s, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. So this game was the height of hustle, but it's gonna be a beautiful hustle. You saw the other hustle. It was just like a night move. That was like this next one is the height of hustle. Okay, it's not the best hustle I ever pulled off. I pulled off like nasty hustles, like just nasty. But this one is classic, and you're gonna love the way this works. All right, I don't look older than 30. Appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much. Take a look at this. We're gonna flip through the opening. This was in the New York Open, as a matter of fact, when New York Open was a thing. So we're just gonna get some pieces out. This move, knight h6, is a really interesting move because its goal is to eyeball this square d4 when the pawn lands on the square. So it has value. Don't think, what's that knight doing over there? It will be re-centralized. So there it is. And h5. I mean, seriously, this Maurice Ashley back in the early 90s, he's not even an IM yet, played some crazy wild chess. But, I'm trying to intimidate. So h3, rook b8, playing on two sides. Can you imagine h5 and then play rook b8? I just spanked this, like the Maurice Ashley back then. Like, what are you doing? It's like Beth Harmon. What does Beth Harmon do to herself back in the day? Like, what were you doing? Stop it. That's what we are as chess players. We can beat ourselves when we were younger. So we now see the move b3. So Paldoff is playing this English, seriously, like an English player. He's just not even doing anything. So I'm like, whatever. You're not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm just chill. Bishop b2. I'll cackle. d3 is like, like, this is the kind of open you're like, seriously, this is like straight boring. All right, whatever. I'll play e6. He played queen d2. I'm like, okay, I'll pretend I'm going to do something on this side. And then he plays this move, knight e4, trying to trade off the bishops. My nice bishop on I like my bishop. Like, why are you bothering my bishop? Hold on. I just switched the position. Why are you bothering my bishop? Like, seriously? Leave my bishop alone. So I was like, nah, I'm keeping it blocked. I normally don't like block positions. I'm like, you can't have my bishop. That's enough. So he plays a3. Again, it's like, just one of those positions. The English is scary, though. I know a lot of y'all don't like playing against the English because it's builds up, it's slow, the action is not immediate, and then you got to know some stuff because the move orders get funny as well. My boy Yasser Sirwan kills people with it. Anyway, so I played b6. I'm gonna just chill instead of b5. He played rook b1. By the way, some of y'all might ask the question like, tricky dicky, what if you take here? Well, I take back and you grab that, then I grab that. Thanks for opening the B line. So don't think you're stealing my pawn. So he played rook b1 and I got him bishop b7, so it's all good. Now he played bishop a1. Now this is like turgid sitting. I just want to really get to the position. So I move my knight back, preparing maybe a potential d5 action. So he decided that he'd play d4. Let's finally get it started. So I'm like, you can do that. I'm taking. And now, this move, cute move, the double back. Now that you weakened d4, now that you finally stepped towards me, I'm going to go back. Hello. Hit d4 multiple times. That's 4 times for you if you're not counting. And you can't easily guard this square. So I just want the square. This is the square I want. Just give it to me. You can't stop me from getting it anyway. So he decided to shut my bishop out the game with d5. I dropped my knight on d4. Now I have a strong knight on d4. I want to trade this guy off and then put the other one on d4. So he played knight c1. Like, geez, okay, well, all my pieces look good, so let me just keep developing. He put his knight on d3. I played bishop a6 attacking his queen. He backed up. And now I'm starting to look at this position. I realize I don't have much to do. So first things first, let me play this move to stop his b4 break, or at least curtail it somewhat. And he played a4. So now I'm like, this so-and-so just wants to block the whole game up and accept a draw and we'd be done. I don't like draws. I don't like draws now. And back in the day, I didn't like draws. For real. So I'm like, you came all the way from Germany to come to New York to make a draw? Like, come on now, man. So, all right, let's see what's going to do. So I play bishop back. And then I play the other bishop back, given that my bishop is not on a great square. He plays queen d2, and I said, all right, let me double rooks. Let me just bring my rook over. So to highlight the fact that I don't have anything to do, he decided to play king h1. Okay, I double rooks. And now he played bishop to c3. So now I'm staring at the position. All pawn breaks are impossible. The queen side is thoroughly blocked up. Excuse me. It's blocked. There are no pawn breaks on the king side. There's nothing there. There's no there. Like, what am I supposed to do? Position is blocked. He has achieved nirvana. He wanted a draw. He's about to get his draw. Jeez, I don't want to draw. So I start plotting. How am I going to make something happen out of this completely blocked, nothing, nondescript position? Like, what am I supposed to do? So I start with king f8. He plays bishop a1. I play bishop a6. He plays bishop to c3. So now I see something deep. I'm going to show you. It's deep. The next plot I concoct, you're going to be like, that was deep. He could have defended. That's not my problem. He had to find all the right moves. But what I'm about to do to him is going to be dirty. Dirty. Watch this plot. Are y'all ready for the plot? It's not time yet. I need to set it up. Here we go. King back to g8. You're like, what? Maurice, that doesn't look deep. Bishop back to b7. He's like, I'm repeating moves. Bishop back to a6. He's like, I'm still repeating moves. Queen to c7. No point. What's the point? He's just like, I just want the draw. I get it. There's nothing for either one of us to do. Queen, sneaky, tricky, dicky, d7. And he falls into it, bishop a1. I had set the whole thing up with the this and the blah, 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 so I could get this exact position with his bishop on a1. Nasty little tricky. I gotta say, it was cute. It was cute. Now, he's still fine. We've played 34 boring moves. I'm sorry I bored you guys up to this point. Like, seriously, nothing happened yet. Now, explosions like fireworks go off in the position. From this moment, we're on skates. We're just like, from this moment. So he's thinking, can you imagine he's like repeating moves? He's thinking, okay, your next move is probably a draw offer, right? Because what are you doing? You're just moving back and forth. Little did he know that I had set up knight takes b3. Boom! Okay, this is the first move, but there's big points that are on the way. Watch carefully. Rook takes on b3. I don't recall the look on his face in this situation. I wish I had, but he had to take my piece, so he did. Now, bishop takes a1. This is why I needed his bishop to be on a1, because I need to drag his rook, this rook away from the e4 knight. Takes. Not the best move. Not the best move. I will come back to the best move. You're going to laugh when you see it. You're going to laugh when you see the best move. It's ridiculous what he could have done in this position. But I took his piece, so he took. And now I sack my rook. Well, it doesn't look like a sack after bishop takes, because now I should play rook takes, right? This was the setup. The intermezzo of intermezzos. Knight d4. That was sneak central. Hitting, I told you I love discoveries. I love discoveries. Hitting the pawn on h3 from a distance. Hitting the rook on b3 from a distance. Ready to fork everybody. What a knight move. What a replacer. Boom. Knight d4. Take your draw off for now. Now he's cooked. He's cooked. He's in trouble. Everything's hanging. That's hanging. This is hanging. This is hanging. That's hanging. Everybody. This is going to hang in a second. Everybody's going to hang. But it's the evaluation at the end of this that's going to be the most fun. What to do here? He couldn't allow everybody to be forked. So he played the move rook a3. I took. He took. And now rook takes e4. And I am currently down an exchange for 2 pawns. Hello. 2 of them. He's got 5. I got 7. But look at my position. Monster threat here. Monster threat there. Not with the rook, of course, but with the knight. I'm hitting him all kinds of different ways. Knight f4. His rook guards f3. His knight guards e2. Boom! In your face, son. Hello. Feel the pain. Feel the burn. Rook takes f4. A double exchange sacrifice. Ooh, it's not every day you double exchange sack. You know, when you double exchange sack, you feel a special glow. Just a special glow. You got to like that. Now, of course, he cannot take with the queen because it's Matutski. So, rook f4, he has to take with the pawn. Discovering attack on my queen. Now, knight f3, seriously? No, I don't want the material back. You can have your rook is cheap. I don't want it. No. What I want to do is I want to mate you on a stick. Bing, 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 queen g4. Check. This is an attack. This is when, Petrosian, the famous quote by Petrosian, you got to remember this quote, people. You got to remember this quote. When you sacrifice something, play like you sacrificed it, not like you lost it. Play like you sacrificed it, not like you lost it. You understand what I'm saying? Don't be like, well, I sacked something, I gotta get the material back. You sacked it. You sacked it for a reason. You sacked it for an attack. You sacked it for development. You sacked it because the pawn structure was gonna be terrible and you're gonna just eat pawns alive. You sacked the thing. Don't be just like, oh, I gotta get it back. No. Keep hunting. Keep the tension alive. Play aggressive. Especially if you sack the pawn. You're never taking your pawn back. In fact, the person wants to give you the pawn back to slow down the attack. No, sorry. No, thank you. You're not getting anything. No, it's pain time. All right? So, queen g4 check. I'm still on the hunt. Now, rook g3. Don't play it because I got this check waiting on you and I'm going to take your queen and then you're going to have to give me a rook. Thank you. And then my 2 pieces are going to beat your rook to death. So, queen g4 check to start. He's feeling the burn now. He played king to h2 and gift me the pawn. That's my 3rd pawn. I'm down 2 exchanges. But look at this delish position. Oh my goodness, these pawns are terrible. I'm going to take every one of them if he lets me. I got 7 goodies, 7 connected buttons. These rooks are crying. This rook on a1 is like, how did I end up there? How did you end up there? Oh, I sent you there. Rook. So now the attack is just cooking now. This bishop is ready to just take a pawn too. Just gonna take more food. So he played f3, trying to say, please play knight takes pawn and take my rook. Just do it. I will give you a rook back. Like, I'm not interested in rooks. I'm not interested. Check. I only smell your king. I just smell it. I'm smelling it. I just want to mate you. I just want to mate you. I don't know about material. I don't know anything. I'm just looking for a mate. I just want to go here and mate you. This is what I'm after. I just want to mate you. Oh, f4 is hanging? Oh, yeah, I might take that on the way. Well, I did. He played rook h1. Gift me that with check. King g1. Check him, wreck him, mate him, done, game. He's got to play queen g2, of course, and I take it. Woo! You know, it's nice to have pleasant memories. Yes, I took my ass kickings back in the day, but, you know, I put some hurt in people too. So you get to show the hurt. Game over. Game over. Now, that's how you finish off a chess game. By the way, tell me that wasn't pure hustle. All those maneuvers I made to set this sucker up back here. Where were we? Back here. You know, this is ridiculous. Look at these moves. Look at these moves. This is ridiculous. Like, this looks like two people begging for a draw. How do you know I set it up to play queen d7 so you can play bishop back to a1? I needed your bishop on a1 so I can play boom. But guess what? He had a deep, and I mean deep, defensive idea. If this explosion hadn't rocked his brain, he might have spotted the one really good idea in this position. Takes. Don't take my bishop. Don't take the bishop. Instead, start with an alternative. Rook takes on b6. Like I didn't even take him. Get a pawn. Just get a pawn. No biggie. Get a pawn, right? So now I'm like, okay, you can take, I can take, you know, whatever. The computer gives this completely ridiculous retreating move. Knight to b2. What? Like what? Knight bucket 2. What is this move about? The point is to block my darn bishop from defending the king so that he can drop knight f6 check on me. Now you know that's a computer move. That's like a hardcore computer move. Knight b2. Retreating the knight to block a bishop that's sitting on a1. A black bishop on a1? Come on. What? Like, what? Like, no. What is that? All right. Knight f6 is suddenly like, whoa, wake up. By the way, somebody suggested knight f6, but remember the bishop is guarding the square. So knight b2, a high-class, world-class retreating move in the position. Okay, I got to kill that sucker. And then I got to kill this guy. That guy has to die. Just has to die. Except now he plays rook takes e4. And I am down in exchange. I do have a pawn for it. But this ain't the same position anymore. This would have been different. This would have been different. But guess what? I can bail with a sack. Check. Gift me that. Gift me that with check. Gift me that one with check. And I'm down a full rook here for multiple pawns. But I can bail with this draw. Check. And just keep checking him. He doesn't want to block with his queen because I can take his bishop. And he would have gotten his draw if he had seen the super hyper duper spectacular knight b2. Like, huh? Out of what? Out of who? What the heck was that? Knight b2, folks. That's insane. Just insane. Yeah, chess is supposed to be a draw. But he had to see it. He didn't. I mean, the variations were tough. I mean, not easy. You got to see the variatia. I mean, come on. This is Grandmaster moves. Knight b2. Bull. Seriously? No, not a chance. Knight b2. Better, as you're saying, honestly, a 4,000 elo move. That's right. You don't. People just don't find moves like knight b2. Come on, knight b2. Like, that's nice. Retreat. Block, threaten. That's a sweet, I got to admit, that's a nice move. I didn't see that when I was going for this line. I did not. I was busy trying to hurt him. Then I would have had to back up and bail and get my draw. That would have hurt. But he didn't see it, and he allowed me to smack him. So anyway, good news. How'd you guys like that game? I mean, that was a little sick. That was a little sick, right? That was funny. That's what you call a nice hustle, though. Because I wasn't winning by any means, but he had to find all the moves, and I set him up. I did all the yucca things. That's what we do here in Brooklyn. When we in Brooklyn, you better watch out because we're going to trick you. Don't bring money. Actually, bring money because, brothers need to get paid. So Anyway, on to the next one. This game, I hope you enjoyed. I have another game to show you. Now, the next game I want to show you is far more technically correct. It did involve slight trickery, usual, but there's going to be something funny as well that happens in this game. All right, here we go. We're going to start this. Here we go, yo. Here we go. All right, the opening is blah, blah, blah. You know how I feel about openings. He's playing a modern. Yes, we're developing pieces. I'm controlling the center. Yeah. Sure, whatever. B5. I like playing a little offbeaty stuff like this as well. Sunil like to venture into the more obscure variations. And this one, modern style, definitely obscure. Trying to get this knight off the square and potentially attack this pawn when this knight comes out. So I said, let me bolster and reupholster my pawn on e4. And he played knight d7. So, okay, I guess you could do that, but I got something for you. Alpha Zero style. Way before Alpha Zero. Way back. I was playing h4. Okay, other people were doing it too. I'm lying. All right. h4, of course, I want to play for some h5. I want to play for some g4 if your knight ends up on f6. I'm cackling. Queen side. Don't you know I'm crazy? I will do it. So he stopped me with h5, but that's what I was waiting for. Knight to h3. No knight e2. I'm headed to g5. Thank you very much. Now that your pawn's on h5, I want the g5 square. Did they have computers back then? It's a trap. I'm not answering that. All right. Knight h3. We did, but they were rickety slow. Weak. All right. Knight h3, but they were about to get strong. Real strong. The 90s? Yeah, that's when Kasparov lost. Yeah, it's a deep blue 97. That was rough. Anyway, now he plays the move knight b6. Hitting my knight on h3. I'm not giving it to him. There's a reason I put it there. Unless he wants to weaken his position with f6, which actually may not be the worst move in the world, to be honest. But he's got no plans to do that, so he played rook to b8. He knows what I'm thinking. He saw me play h4. He's thinking I'm castling queen side. He wants to be ready. He wants to set me up. So I feel you. Plus, he got a little b4 action possibly coming. So I said, well, while we're thinking about it, let me repurpose my knight to the d1 square. I'm going to play knight d1. And I'm going to send my knight to f2 because I'm prepping g4 for future reference if you don't know. That's what I wanted to do. That's how I thought back in the day. Go kill him, wreck him. Now he played the move d5. Now, by the way, this move knight b6, knights on b6, they're weird pieces, and you got to be very careful when you put them there. But he had a very clear plan in his mind. So I played, after this move, I said, I see a weakness to this move. Let me grab this square. He said, no problem. And let me play e5. This modern players, they love stuff like, they revel in it. He played knight h6, headed to the square. So I played bishop to d3. And now he said, well, you can't do everything and have everything you want. So he played knight f5. So I took it. That knight's too good on that square. Bishop f5. And now I play knight e3, attacking his bishop on f5, trying to wreck his pawn structure. And in this position, he got excited. I could see it because the way he made his next move, he didn't realize when I took on f5 that I had a nasty little trap waiting for him. Because he played knight c4, and I'm going to tell you, he did it with alacrity. Like, bing, knight c4. His eyes lit up like, 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 he was feeling good about this move because he figured I got to play something like takes, and then he gets the b line. Or if I don't take on this square, then he's going to get rid of this knight. His bishop is strong, and he's like, yeah, I'm doing all right. No, sir. My plan, the nasty. Bing, bing, knight takes f5. You can have my queen. This is why I took on f5 in the first place. This is the reason I killed that thing that sat on that square. All right? So I can play knight takes. By the way, a legitimate question before I continue. Somebody asked, why not play bishop to f5? Well, for one thing, I'm not taking it. And it loses a move, essentially, because I get to play knight e3 on the next move, and then I get to play queen takes, so your knight's still hanging on this square. Maybe it was still better than what he did, though. Maybe. I'll go with that. Anyway, he played knight f5. I killed it. I played knight e3, and boom! Now, he did not play knight c4 to wreck his pawn structure. He should have wrecked his pawn structure. But he didn't play knight c4 to wreck his pawn structure. So he decided to take my queen. Now it's time for the fun. Boom! Knight takes g7 check. Point number 1. Don't put your king on f8. You know how much I love knights. I'm a fork you, wark you. Get your queen back. This knight is hanging in the square. You're going to die. So that wasn't the problem. The problem was king d7. This knight is about to be trapped. If I take a piece, let's say bishop takes d2, he plays e6, and this guy is never getting out of dodge. Actually, he can play, no, here I can play knight f7 and try to keep it going, even if my knight's trapped. But maybe simple enough is queen here, and then on check, move the king, and then whoever takes, take this, and my knight got trapped, I can take his rook, but who wants this crap when I have better? The correct move with his knight still sitting on this square is to play bing, 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 e6 with check. Don't forget, I got 2 pieces in my pocket. I took his bishop on f5 and his bishop on g7. They're gone. Now e6 check. So if you decide to borrow this piece, well, I will cash in on that one. And now your queen's hanging. Let me get an arrow straight, please. Hello. Queen's hanging there. And your knight's hanging here. I get 3 pieces with monster knight. A monster knight on the e6 square. So that's killer. Probably should have done that. Instead, he played king to c8. Now he's wondering, you know, like he took 2. Remember, he took 2. So he still sees a trapped knight on this square that he's going to go after. If I, for example, take his knight, f6, knight f7, boom, takes, and my knight is legitimately trapped on the square. Yeah, you know, if I was interested in keeping material, I would not have sacked in the first place. The right move is give me the pawn on f7. Look at my boy on f7. f7. Look at that pawn. Look at that beast. Look at that monster. I'm going to put a knight on e6, and I'm going to threaten the queen. I'm going to put a knight on e6. Whoop. That was the point behind the whole queen sack, y'all. That was the whole point. I know it wasn't like 10 moves deep and all that, but, you know, it's a nice idea. Look at this position. He saved his knight because he doesn't want to give up his piece. I brought my knight out, and he played check. Now, here's the deal. I moved my king. The deal is I took 2 pieces, so this pawn, I can cash in f8 queens whenever I like and get this rook. Like whenever I like. There's no stopping f8 queens. It's like f8 queens is coming. It's on. It's f8 queen. That's mine. This game will last another 9 moves. This pawn will not leave f7. I wasn't very materialistic. The pawn's not leaving f7. This game is going to keep going and keep going. And this pawn is never leaving f7. I'm leaving it because I can always play f8. So I'm leaving it on f7. And this pawn will play a pivotal role in the checkmate that's going to happen to this king in several moves, which you will see how this worked. He played queen b4, hitting my pawn. He's got to get counterplay. After all, he's got a queen, so he's got to use it. He's also thinking about this pawn at some point. So I played b3. No, you're not getting this pawn. Well, you will, but you'll see. His knight goes back, and now he's thinking, okay, if you queen, well, I'll just queen it. He wants to do this, and then this, you know, and be like messing up my game. Like I'm trying to win easy, and okay, I still can play bishop e3, and the game goes on, and you know, whatever. But I don't want you to start taking my central pawns. So I'm not queening. But he really also wants to play knight takes on f7. I don't want to see that happen either. So, all right, what's the deal? In this position, my pawn on d4 is hanging. Can you see what I did? Wosley 3Y, much love. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, in this position, well, if you're sacrificing Play like you sacrificed, not like you lost material. Did I tell you about the Petrosian quote? Play like you sacrificed. Hello? C3. Take another one. You want it? You can have it. Just open up some lines. I just want to open up some lines. C3. I just want this file. I'm not giving you my pawn. Remember, I will queen on you if you don't take it, and I'm just going to have a solid position. So he said, okay, let's go for it. Let's take it. You keep moving his queen. I wouldn't have cared. I would have just hit him. Thanks for the file. My rook's active. Check. And now my technically best move, modern day engine suggests, was king g3. But king f1 is still winning. And now we're about this business right here. We're about this business. I'm trying to crack his king open. So he got no time to be thinking about this because this is a problem on c6. So he defended it. He's still thinking, when you queen your pawn and your knight leaves, I'm taking your d pawn, Maurice. He didn't know what I had in mind. If only he... Move your queen off. I want this guy. I don't care about these little jokers. I just want this guy to stay on the board. That guy I need. That guy I want. So move your queen away. If he moves his queen away, I can now, let's say queen a3, then he doesn't get my d pawn. I can now promote this guy and continue to wreck. But he decided, might as well get more food. Well, it's not like I just gave you the pawn now. Switcheroonie. Switcheroonie, give me the file. So my c3 was to get the c file. My a3, my rook b1 was to get the a file. And now he took a third. I gave him back 3 pawns. 3 pawns. I still haven't cleaned this, cashed in. The check. The check. Give me that pawn on a7. And now we're talking. Now we're talking. I got threats here. I got threats here. I got threats all the way over there. One day I might queen this pawn, but it ain't going to happen in this game. He played rook b7, dealing with Joey along this rank. And I played a move that I was really proud of now. This one is next one. Michael Adams. I learned something from Michael Adams. Mickey would do this in the middle of an attack. And I always felt it was counterintuitive, but it was the right thing to do. It's often the right thing to do. Sorry. It's often the right thing to do. And that is always in the middle of your attack, be ready to trade, even though it looks like you're trading off your attacking pieces. It's a counterintuitive idea, but I'd see him trade pieces. I'm like, what are you doing? You're attacking. Why would you trade? But the thing is, you don't want to do it, so you don't look at it really carefully. But in this position, trading is exactly what I should do. And I played rook takes b7. Very simple move, very straightforward. Nothing too deep about it. The reason why it's a strong move, first of all, is king takes and check. Hello, give me the girl. So rook takes b7. He has to play knight takes. And now rook takes on c6 with check. There's only one move. That is king d7. He resigned here because after king d7, it's mate. It's mate. It's not every day you see a mate like this, people. And my pawn on f7 is guarding e8. Never promoted it. Kept it on the board. Sacked everybody, the house on the queen side, in order to mate. Open up those lines so I could get at the king and mate. And the pawn on f7, it's been there a while. I mean, it's, you know, a pawn is like, I would like to promote one day. Could I promote? That's what pawns dream about. No, young grasshopper, we had other plans for you. It was me. Who needs to promote? Indeed. Good little finish. Good little game. Hope you enjoyed it.